Oh shoot, we're live. Live out of Miami, Fort Lauderdale. Well, let's get our intro going, baby. Hold on.
On digital radio, on the app, on your smart speaker, on Twitter, YouTube, Twitch.tv, and Facebook. The Sports Cast. Expect the unexpected.
The Jersey Boys Sports Talk presented by The Sports Cast.
The Jersey Boys Sports Talk with Victor Arocho and Byron Jones. And here's your host, Victor Arocho.
All righty, let's get it on. Live out of Miami, Fort Lauderdale, and Lancaster, Pennsylvania. Welcome to the Jersey Boys Sports Talk, hosted by Byron Jones and Victor Arocho, brought to you by The Sportscast. Today is August 1st, 2024. If you haven't yet, please subscribe to The Sportscast on all our channels, YouTube, Twitter, Spotify, iTunes. And if you are on iTunes, subscribe to the Jersey Boys Sports Talk podcast, a little purple icon, also on Spotify. If you could leave us a review and a rating, it would help us out tremendously. Don't forget to smash the like button on YouTube, subscribe, get the notifications, and you can hear all of our future and past shows and get notified. We are streaming live every week on Thursday at 8 p.m. on Facebook and on YouTube. Welcome to the show, Mr. Byron Jones. How are you doing today?
I'm doing wonderful. How are you today?
I hear it's rather hot in Philly.
It's cooking hot. 102. It was scorching hot, and the humidity.
Did you say 100?
No, I said 102 to be exact.
Oh my God! Oh yeah, that's right. Like Saquon Barkley's yards.
Yeah, whatever, man. Yeah,
102.
Yeah, it's a little hot, a little humid out there. I went outside twice today, and no good.
Wow.
So I learned my lesson, and I'm good, and I'm staying in the house.
Which at least is preparing the Jersey teams to play in the heat when they start the season.
Man, they ain't gonna play this heat like this, man. It ain't that hot.
It's nice in Miami.
It's crazy.
It's nice down here. It's not in hundreds. It's beautiful. So, all right, let's go. We got a lot of good stuff talking about. We're getting excited about the season. We got Giants to talk about. We got a lot of, it seems like this is the major. I don't know about you, but it seems like it's the major year of contracts. So, but let's bring our regular guest host and major Giant fan from our northern state of Maine, Mr. Alex Quirk. Alex, welcome to Jersey Boys Sports Talk.
Good to be back.
What's the weather like in Maine?
Good to be back because football is back.
Yeah, exactly. And what's the weather up there in Maine?
It was very beautiful today. It was kind of hot. Well, I say kind of hot for Maine standards, but it was. I went to a baseball game today, the Sea Dogs. It was like a day game, and it was like I was just cooking. It was like 88, red in the sun, just very unforgiving on the concrete, but still. I will take this over the cold days that will remind me of in about, August now? 4 months from now, I will take this.
It gets rather cold up there. All righty. Let's get it on. All right, let's get right into it. Let's bring up our first topic of discussion. Mr. Byron Jones, I'm reading a lot of stuff on the training camp, and there's a few topics. One is Daniel Jones, and I'll let you kick off with that. And you're hearing a lot more up north what the fans are saying, what they're saying in camp. You get a lot of the local news. The most local news I get is by reading the New York Post. So what do you got going on?
Well, Theo Johnson, their fourth-round pick, is back to tight end. We'll start with that. Some good news. We have a couple problems with the linemen. JMS, Michael Smith, the center, is going to be out. I hurt his shoulder already. Evan Neal hasn't, he came back for a minute and he's out again. They signed Greg Van Roten. I think he was a guard with the Raiders to play right guard right down. They moved the other guy that they've signed with from the Raiders to right tackle. And me personally, I don't think Mr. Evan Neal will ever see the field again because supposedly, he's recovering still from whatever happened with his ankle, and it's a mess, as far as he's concerned. But they've said Daniels look good some days and bad the others, and kind of like in the middle. Because they're trying to get to a point where they want him to throw the ball deeper down the field since they have all these weapons. But it's not going to help having all these weapons if the offensive line is the problem again.
Okay. So, but what I'm, but he's still recovering though. I mean, what are they expecting him? It's not like Aaron Rodgers is ready to start, right? So he was injured. Aaron
That's what
Rodgers is going
they
to
said
start
the
the
other day.
game one. Daniel Jones is not going to play until maybe game four and hopefully game five because I don't want him to start against Dallas, right? But
I,
if he's
I
injured, I don't understand why they would expect him to be not be rusty. He's still playing injured. Alex?
Well, I'm just looking from the quote back in November that said 8 to 10 months for a recovery, and so trying to do some if it was November. I mean, 8 to 10 months is the kickoff. I would agree. I would prefer not to feed him to the wolves and just do your best with Tommy Cutlets or I'm
Drew
I don't
Lock
know
is
if it,
probably going
Drew
to
Lock.
start. Drew
Drew
Lock.
Drew
Lock.
Lock. Thank you. Take your pick with either one of those and just hope for the best in what is probably a wash. Hopefully not as embarrassing as last year, which I think is a very high bar to clear, but it's the Giants. So I mean, I think I would agree with you that definitely not week one. I'd have to relook at their schedule to see who they got the first couple weeks.
It's we
Well,
just know we don't want him to start against Micah Parsons. I don't think
yeah,
that
but
would
if
be a
they got
good
him,
team to start against.
but he's clear. If he's cleared to practice,
Hmm.
he might be cleared to play the first game. He probably won't play in any of the preseason games, but as
Hmm.
far as the first game, they might throw him out there.
Minnesota on September. Sorry, the Cowboys are week four. I had it back. I was like
That's
thinking
why I
the
didn't want him to do
Cowboys
week
again.
four. I wanted to wait to week five.
Well, the problem is I feel like I almost would rather have him available potentially than that be his first game. Like I would rather him play the Commanders or the Browns if he's healthy in the weeks 2 or 3. But I'm okay with not week one if he's not ready. If he's ready, I don't want to play the contract card here, but we're paying him $40 million to ride the bench if he's as good as he's going to be, I guess.
Eh, eh, but we've talked about this 1,000 times. I'll bring it up again. The offensive line has been the issue for years. I mean, going back, toward the end with Eli, and it's just bad. But for them to invest, draft capital, and then they sign free agents, they're still signing, people, at the last minute, Van Roten, the guy from the Raiders, and just show up this line, and people, and they still talk about it, every day. They had a picture the other day where I think it was Dexter Lawrence blew past Runyon, like he was, yeah, that's one of the guys that they signed. But I understand it's Dexter Lawrence, but it was like free quarterback, and he
Not
just
even like a challenge.
not even a check. He was back there before you could have a chance to blink. And it's like, okay, we signed this guy, to protect him, up the middle. And I understand that Dexter Lawrence is, one of the top three defensive linemen, and it is what it is. But yeah, that looked like last year. He got there so fast.
Well, Byron, you're right. According to what I'm reading here, it says that Daniel Jones is clear to go ahead with training camp, and he's getting all the
Yep.
reps with the first team. Essentially,
Yep.
he's expected to start week one. But remember, we
There you
talked
go.
several weeks ago that we were expecting him. Remember when we were going through the season, we weren't expecting him to come back to week four, and that's when I was saying, well, if that's the case, I don't want his first game to be coming back against Micah Parsons.
But guess what? Modern medicine is a wonderful thing. They've cleared him to be in camp. He's been doing the 7-on-7, 11-on-11. He's been out there, and I guess they're probably not going to play him in the preseason games, but he's going to be the guy the first game, Minnesota, whoever they're playing. He's going to be out there. So the 8-month window, take that and throw it out the window, and we'll see how things go.
Hey, look, if he's ready to go, let him start week one. I just didn't want him to play right off the bat against
I
major
would agree.
major powerhouse defenses. I don't think that's a good. If it's against the Vikings, I'm not that concerned. But yeah, I don't want him to go against a division rival, especially with Micah Parsons and that team that's going to be hungry. And Dak is going to be playing for a contract unless he gets his contract signed. So So that's number one. Number two, they're saying also though that the receiver core they were talking about uh, obviously Malik Neighbors, but your boy is it Wandell?
Robinson, yeah, he's gonna. I
They're
think
saying he's
personally, he's
doing
gonna
pretty.
end
He's
up.
looking pretty good.
I think he's gonna end up leading the team probably in catches because he's just that kind of. He just seems like he's that kind of guy that's gonna get open and be open and catch the ball. Even Jalen Hyatt is having a pretty good camp. The other, the kid they got from Tennessee with all that speed. So it would look pretty cool that you put Hyatt out there, even though you got to put
And
Darius Slayton.
You got
But
Slayton.
you got Slayton, Hyatt, Robinson, but don't forget Allen Robinson. They signed him too.
Hmm.
With the
I do
Pittsburgh
see
kid.
that. Yeah.
So they're loaded at receiver. You got Bellinger, tight end. You got the kid. Theo Johnson just came back, the rookie. Uh, it just man, it's the opposite line, man. We say it all the time, man. They got to block just a little bit.
Just got to load up on offense. So you just got to
That's what
do
they
like a run and shoot or something like that, just very quickly.
Well, if the offensive line is important, it's also important for a running back, right?
The guy they signed, we let Saquon walk or whatever they did, and Singletary is not a bad back at all. He, from I think he was with Buffalo and he's with the Houston Texans, and I think he's hit like the 800-yard mark, and they want to do this running back by committee thing. That's the big thing now, where they have him, the rookie from I can't think of the kid's name, the rookie running back, and there's a couple other people that are going to be in the mix. So they're not going to have this guy carrying the ball 300-400 times. Yeah, there you go, Tyrone Tracy. They said Dante Miller is another one that's having a good camp, one of the kids. But yeah, they got to block, man. I'm gonna say that 1,000 times. They have to, because if they don't, it's gonna be a long season again. We'll be sitting. Hey, I can't wait till the draft comes up. We'll be sitting here doing the same thing again.
We're starting to figure out like where our positioning is and knowing who's at the top of college football to be like, all right, we're going for. I don't even know who the presumptive number one pick is for next year.
Carson Beck, the quarterback from
out of Georgia.
Georgia.
Okay.
Or Shedeur Sanders.
Alex, what are your thoughts on the receiving core? They're saying over the last 3 years we've been drafting, but remember, my biggest problem has been that field. Every time we have our receivers, they all have hamstring problems.
Yeah, I mean, which I think we've talked about on the show before, that it has to do with conditioning, which I think is a deeper issue of the staffing that is hired or employed by the New York Football Giants. But I mean, and that's what I'm very. I don't know. I think it's just because the way the season is, where it's expanding. There's now rumors it's going to be 18 soon. No one plays in the preseason anymore. So then everyone starts getting injured like the first week because, well, guess what? They didn't really play in the preseason. So guess what? Guys are getting injured. Like training camp only does so much to get you ready. You can only
but a lot of these teams are having like the dual, like the Giants, they have a scrimmage against the Jets for a week,
like in the lead up to the game.
And that's why we're going to turn around with the whole go 18 games, because that's majority of what they're going to do. They're just we play and just do it like that. They're going to stick at 18 and get rid of all the preseason games. You can see that coming.
But with the receiving core, it seems like that there's definitely some improvement. Apparently, Neighbors got praise from Daniel Jones on, I guess it was, they ran some screenplay with Wandale Robinson, and Neighbors was out there blocking. So he seems like he's got a good attitude that I'm glad everyone was wrong about when we drafted him in April. Be like, oh, he's not going to play here. He seems like he wants to play.
Who's that?
He's in New York.
Well, no, when Malik Neighbors was signed, there was the jokes that like he really didn't want to play here because he was going to have to play with Daniel Jones. And again, probably maybe not his preferred destination, but I guess there was some play in training camp today that like he got praise from Daniel Jones basically just for kind of like not just sort of being a pedestrian, but actually blocking on a screen where he wasn't the target. So,
well, look, I'm just happy what hurt him in the beginning is he made those weird comments about Daniel Jones.
Yeah.
Right. That's what happened. So just go out there and produce.
But now that like they're actually like together because it's training camp, I'm sure they're having moments of bonding and like actually like kind of understanding one another, that at the end of the day they both want to win football games. At least I think they both do. I don't know. At least in theory, that's why they're there.
And also, you could also, they could probably be having that conversation. Is looking, Saquon is not here. It's going to be a passing team, right?
You may be the guy like with Odell
You
like a decade
if
ago.
you want to be Jamar Chase, right? You want to get a Justin Jefferson contract. This is your chance. And you could say whatever you want about Daniel Jones. I don't know why the fans are saying stuff, Byron, that you were mentioning about throwing downfield. But when there was a point in the season, remember that was when I was giving Daniel Jones a lot of crap inside the red zone. He was leading the league in downfield percentage passing. The long ball was his game. So, I mean,
Well,
I think that'll play into hands for Malik Neighbors. He needs to see it that way.
Well, it'll be good because we don't want him running as much this year.
no. The other thing is that Dable took over play calling. He's going to be calling the plays this year, so I guess he's going to call the plays so he can save his job. So you figure if you're going to go down, you might as well go down doing what you do best. So we'll see how that works out with him taking control of
But
the play
he's
call.
he got to save him and Joe Shane's job, even though everybody disagrees with me. I am telling you, you saw those comments on Facebook when we were talking. If Saquon has a big season and a big games against the Giants, and the Giants don't have a decent record, I think they're cleaning house. And everyone's complaining, oh, you want to start all over again? Byron, I don't know what your peaks are. Alex, what are your thoughts on that? People's complaints are like, well, now we're going to do it again. You're going to start from scratch all over with a GM and a coach. That's the comments out there, and I got a response to that. What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, I say respectfully, having been a fan of this team almost my entire life, other than that one blip from last year where we were in the playoffs, not only making the playoffs, but getting a win, what exactly is there to build upon for the last, God, it's been 13 years since they won the Super Bowl. What has been the last 13 years but a lot of mediocrity? So, I mean, cleaning house is just at the end of the day, all right, we're going to just do the same thing again, but it's what it is. It's not like we're we're really blowing up this core. I mean, there's good pieces on the defense, but I don't think you think they would sell for scraps or not scraps. They would clean house entirely or just staffing wise.
I think the head coach and the GM,
which I'd be fine with that. But I'm thinking we just gave up some capital for Brian Burns. I want to see how that's going to pan out because I have high expectations for him.
Byron, what are your thoughts on the comments of, oh my God, no, that would be crazy to start all over again?
Okay. If they're true Giant fans, you're going to jump on the bandwagon and want Daniel Jones to succeed. You want him to succeed.
I want him to succeed, right? The issue isn't that.
Because, it's part.
I think the issue. Wait, let me bring the narrative back up. I apologize. Let's stay close on this, okay? Let's say we want Daniel Jones. We want him to do well, have a great season. I'm just saying that based on what we saw on Hard Knocks, based on what we know that we've read, based on what your comments, based on my comments, Mara did not want to get rid of Saquon. That's the narrative is if Saquon has a great year and then has a good games against the Giants, I think that, and the Giants as a team, not Daniel Jones, as a team, don't do well, I think Mara is going to have a problem. That's what I'm saying. So my point is he's going to get rid of Shane. He's going to get rid of Dable. And the argument outside, the fan base is, well, why would you want to start all over again? That's where I'm at. Not Daniel Jones. The fact that Saquon does well, and they get rid of the GM and the coach.
When they play, whenever they play the Giants, like we talked about at MetLife, if the Giants are having I think it's October 20th or whatever it is.
Yep, you got it right. October 20th.
And if the Giants are not doing so well, and then Barkley comes into MetLife and runs for 130 yards, 100 yards of receiving, 3 touchdowns. I mean, blows the play, just blow them because they might do it and blows it up. Somebody got to get fired. They do because Mara just he's that kind of I ain't gonna say emotional, but passionate about that's his team. And to have a guy that that was the face of the organization come to MetLife and blow them up on that because it's gonna be a national TV, man. And then if the season just keeps tumbling after that, Shane's getting fired.
Okay.
I mean,
So
Belichick survived 2 years after Brady, at
Mhm,
least 2 years.
mhm.
Yeah.
And I agree with that. And that was my point. And my comments to the fans out there go, "Oh, why would you want to start again? That would be crazy. We start over again." I'm going to go back to the comments you make every time we discuss this. How is it that Detroit turned around their season, their team in a 3 year span? Okay. So if they did it in 3 years, look, I'll take 3 years, wait another 3 years for somebody to turn around, but I can't keep waiting for 13 years, right? And then to get rid of one of their best players on the team, and they're saying that Barkley wasn't that good, that he wasn't an all running back. He in the seasons that he's played, in the 6 seasons, 2 of them he was out. Of the 4 seasons he played, he was the top 3 running backs 2 out of those 4 seasons.
I don't think anyone that disputes his talent is not smart. I was gonna say I could use a lot more language. I'm just gonna say they're not intelligent, but I think that's the issue. He was very talented, as you said, when he played, but were the Giants going to pay him that much money on the risk that you're going to lose 1/3 of that contract because he's inevitably going to get injured again?
He was injured 2 out of 6 years, so it's not like he was
Yeah, but
injured
he didn't,
all the
and he
time.
missed
And
and
he
during
also
those 4 years.
produced with it, but he produced with a really bad line.
Oh yeah,
I
Yeah,
mean,
no,
but
I'm
you
not
keep
saying it's all
arguing
his
about the line.
fault.
You're worried about Daniel Jones performing, and you keep saying, but the line has to hold. That has to be true for a running back.
I mean, I
yeah, but
didn't blame
how many times
Barkley
did
for
he get
all
the
the
ball
shortcomings.
and he got blown up in the backfield? How many times did he get? He would get the ball. He'd be dancing around before as soon as he gets the ball. Just about every week.
Well, look,
And somebody's gonna pay the piper for that.
he had 5,500 yards in 6 years, and he played 4 out of those 6 years. So he's averaging well over 1,000 plus yards. And the top running back is they're up like 1,400, maybe 16, but after that, everyone is in the 1,100s. So it's not like Christian McCaffrey, Josh Jacobs. There's maybe the 1 and 2 running backs in the league are above 1,300 yards. Everybody else is under that. So if he's at 1,000, 1,100, he's right there in the mix, and he can catch. This doesn't even count his receiving yards. Anyways, like I agree with Alex that people making the comments that don't think he was a valuable player was now the difference between paying him, not paying him. Hey, it is what it is. I just don't. I just do not like that we sent him to a division rival.
I
Let's
think
move
No,
also
on.
the
no, we
skepticism
did
I
we
have
did
is
send them.
is Mara going to care enough to let's say week 7, the Giants absolutely get the doors blown off. Let's say primarily led by Saquon. Is Mara going to fire him? Because again, the issue I feel and stuff we've talked about in the show whenever I come on is just it feels like there's a level of complacency at the top. Yes, clearly this is a bad optic, but also that was on Hard Knocks, which is generally not viewed to the public. That was just because the Giants let it happen. How many times has this happened in the past? I don't know if he was a fan of Odell being traded. Who knows with what Mara thinks, really? Because the guy who was like, hey, fan appreciation, free medium sodas on the house. I know, I'm going to that one. It's that's why I have my doubts that Mara. I mean, I'm not saying he doesn't care about the Giants. I just don't think, as long as the cash cow and the bottom line isn't being affected, I don't think is that passionate enough to make any moves.
Mhm.
Yeah, but you don't think with Bill, if they get beat down this year, you got Bill Belichick sitting there, a giant through and through. You don't, and he comes with a 2-for-1. He's a coach and a GM. You don't think that they would pull the trigger to get him, into New York?
I don't want his buddies that come with him. If you can give me Bill Belichick isolated, sure, but I don't want Patricia. I don't want Joe Judge coming back. I don't want his son, respectfully. Not McDaniels. I don't want the crew that comes with him.
I don't think he's gonna bring Josh McDaniels. I mean, look what he relegated Josh McDaniels when he brought him back to New
He's
England.
putting the band back together. He's going to put the band back together. Joe Judge, Matt Patricia, the whole. He's going to bring.
Patricia will be coaching Daniel Jones's offense. You gotta love it because it worked so well for Mac.
Yeah, I don't know. All right, well let's move on with that. This is enough. I just wanted to make those comments. I think I don't think it was a great Shoot, man, I cannot get these pieces that I want. Okay. Anyways, don't forget today. It's probably started. If it hasn't started yet,
It's on right now, yeah.
we have the Hall of Fame game on.
So, not that I've been watching the game like intently here, but the first observation I have, which is of course the kickoff rule that is brand new, and we've talked about it
Oh,
on the show.
did it start? The game start yet?
Yeah, the game, they're like in the middle of the first quarter. But what I was saying is that both teams have not just like, because I believe if I recall in the landing zone, which is like the 20, 25 yards from like the goal line, both teams have taken it out. They haven't just like whistled or gone for the fair catch to get like the touchback, I think.
Oh, so they're just starting at where?
Well, so basically, like they have both teams are lined up at I think about the 35-yard line, and the kick, and then there's like the kick returner who's in this landing zone, which is like I think the first 20 yards off the field. They actually are putting a graphic on, so it's not like you're just sort of clueless, like where's the landing zone. They're actually like putting it on the screen. I think it's if you call a fair catch and catch the ball within that landing zone, you automatically get to push it to the 25. I think is the rule. I have to brush myself up on the XFL kickoff rule. It's been a minute. But both teams took it out and got to about the 25-yard line, which was amusing.
Oh my god! So they took it. Yeah. So in other words, pretty much we're not going to see any kickoffs. Is that what you're saying?
Well, no, at least in the preseason we will. I don't know in the regular season if we will, but for right now they have used it, or they haven't taken advantage of the rule and they've actually returned the kick. Because I think that's part of the issue is that no one can advance until the ball is caught. So both teams, or at least the kicking team, is just kind of standing there at like the 35-yard line waiting for the ball to land before they can start moving. So in I think the receiver's mind, they have 20 yards of real estate before they're even getting touched.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. And all they're trying to do is just get more kickoff returns.
I think that's what it's going to end up happening is that at least at the beginning, there's going to be a lot until a lot of teams like, why are we not just taking the free 25?
Yeah. I mean, why risk injury?
Exactly.
And it's just going to be a waste of minutes, though, or seconds.
I mean, I feel like that's the ultimate end game is at some point they're just going to eradicate the kickoff. I feel like, I don't know. I mean, again, we'll see with the new rules if more teams like really, if it becomes like where the extra point needed that little boost to, instead of being like, what, a 15-yard kick, it's now like a 30-something yard kick for an extra point. So who knows? Maybe this might beef up the number of kickoff returns. The jury's still kind of out on that one.
Interesting. All righty. There's been a lot of talk about some of these contracts that are going on. So I want a big talk about Caleb Williams. So Caleb Williams didn't even start tonight.
I don't think he's going to play in the preseason. I'm going to be honest with you.
I think they said he's going to play the second or something, but they're not letting him start now. But there's a lot of talk about him, right? There also is a lot of talk that they think that Jaden Daniels from the Commanders is going to outperform him, just like C.J. Stroud. My question to the panel here is, can C.J. Stroud repeat his performance, last year's performance? Byron?
Yeah, why not? You know, they got Stephon Diggs, receiver. They got a veteran receiver. Hopefully he doesn't get there. I need a ball. I need a ball. I need a ball. But they do have other good great receivers. I think like I put them like a top 3 receiver group. They're up there with Dell, Stephon Diggs, and Nico Collins, I think his name is, and they're loaded. They got Joe Mixon at running back. So they've loaded up and they're going to make a run at it. I think, surrounding him with better weapons or more weapons, I think he can do the same thing.
Mm-hmm. And they're also having him highly ranked as the chance for MVP.
Wouldn't shock me.
Yeah. No.
Like if in the bets is like he's in the highest not odds of winning MVP this year. Now, who do you feel that has the chance to have a better season? C.J. Stroud or Jordan Love?
I feel like C.J. Stroud just because he has more weapons. Okay. Like I just think that not that the Packers haven't built a team around Jordan Love. I just think that the Texans were already pretty good loaded wise, and then they go get Joe Mixon, they go get Stephon Diggs. Like they're loading up for like this is like win now. And I think they're in a division. I think they're gonna have great matchups with the Colts, assuming Anthony Richardson, knock on wood, doesn't get re-injured. Otherwise, I don't see the Jaguars as a threat, and I don't see the Titans as a threat. I think the AFC North is going to be tough. Maybe not for. I mean, we'll see with the Bears. On paper, they're a very good team. The Lions are still the Lions. They're very good. So I think Jordan Love's going to have a lot of let alone he's in the North, so it's going to be very cold in those winter games in December.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm going with Stroud as the better campaign.
Well, the thing that I think Stroud as well. The only thing the thing that CJ Stroud has going for him is he's got Matt LaFleur calling the plays versus the offensive coordinator Bobby Slowick for the Houston Texans. So Matt LaFleur has shown himself as, look what he can do. Did with Aaron Rodgers. Now he's moving on. He's Jordan Love. I mean, Jordan Love, I think was 8-2 in the second half of the season, if I'm not mistaken. He made a decent run to the playoffs. So it's going to be an interesting matchup between the two. Byron, what are your thoughts?
I think I like D'Amico Ryans as the head coach for the Houston. Their defense, I think, is a little bit better, this year. With Will Anderson Jr. having a year under him. Stingley, the corner, he's going to have a better year. He's kind of a little shaky, the corner this year. Well, last year. Offensively, like I said, with them getting Diggs, you got three guys you have to worry about, and a good running game. And they're going to surprise a lot of people. I think they're going to go deep into the playoffs this year.
The Texans?
Yep, Texans.
Okay. All right. Now, big talk. Now, we've been talking about Brandon Ayuk last week, not getting a contract. Now, Trent Williams is holding out. And then we got this. Tristan Wirfs from the Tampa Bay signs $140 million extension, including $88 million guaranteed. We weren't even talking about him, Byron. What are your thoughts on that contract? And it makes sense now why Trent Williams has been mentioned many times as one of the best offensive linemen in the league.
And this guy is too. He had to move from right tackle to left tackle. And I think he's been all pro or Pro Bowl player at both positions. And not to take anything from Trent Williams. He's been doing it 15 years. He's been doing it a long time.
Wow,
he's been a great player. Long time. But the young gun got paid. And now, maybe it's a pride thing. Because I think Trent Williams like 23 million a year, whatever he's averaging. I think this one's like 28 million for, maybe it's just a pride thing, man. He feels that he's the best offensive line and he should be paid as such. But he's also accruing the $50,000 a day fine not being in camp. So that doesn't help either, And you have, Ayuk, you got to pay. You have a couple of them other guys you got to pay. Purdy's coming up. He's gonna get, he's gonna be in that $55 million range. But I'd be a little salty, but still, you signed the contract and you're toward the end of your career. Just go out and win a Super Bowl and ride off in the sunset. But this is a pride thing where he wants to get more money.
Well, he's got to be up there. I mean, he has 3 years left on a $138 million contract, right? The salary cap costing all the remaining is $29 million signing bonus. Right, his base salary in 2025 would be $32 million. So you put that together with this 5-year deal, right? I mean,
they cap it.
What's that?
Huge.
Is it a big cap hit? That's what we got.
Who's that for the 49ers?
Any of them. That's like what I thought when I see this contract. It's like, I'm not saying that this guy wasn't worth whatever, but it's like, geez, I guess just almost hold out as long as it is until the right moment to get your contract, and then just be like, all right, I would like this, or you can franchise tag me, and sure, that's going to annoy me, but you're going to have to pay him a lot of money on a franchise tag, so I can kind of see where it's like, just get the deal done.
Yeah, and Byron, I don't understand this guy at 140 million for over 5 years. It's still less than the 32 million he's going to get in 2026. It's more. It's a little bit more than the 22 million he's going to get in 2025, but he's going to get 32 million in base in 2026.
I didn't look at it, but okay, we're talking about this guy is one of the better tackles. He's probably one of the top three tackles in
Trent
all of football.
Williams.
Well, yeah, without a doubt, him. But I'm just saying this kid too, Tristan Wirth from Tampa Bay. But then you got Penny Sewell. He got paid. Nobody said anything about that. There was a couple other ones that have gotten paid. As far as offensive tackle. If you want to, hey kids, if you want to pay anything, be an offensive tackle right now because they're getting paid. All those guys. But Tristan Wirth, deserved every penny of it. He protected Tom Brady when he was there, and
Mhm.
that's
They
just
won
the
a
going
Super
rate
Bowl.
now.
They won a Super Bowl.
Yes, they have.
I'm just saying that 100. Did I do that right?
It's a lot to commit to one player. I would agree with you.
It's 28 million a year, and I guess Trent Williams is upset because this year he's only going to make um
Eh,
22 million,
23. But
23 million.
listen what you just said, man. He's only going to make $22 million.
He's going to make
Forgive my
32
confusion.
million
He's a
next
cap at a
year.
third. I'm confused because he's a cap at a 31.5 million. I'm not sure what this 22. Like his base is 20, but there's the signing for
His
6.
yeah, no, his base is
Oh,
20. Exactly. He's not making less than this guy. So I don't know where his issue is.
I think it might just be the fact that, well, actually, just looking at, I forget what article I just had up. He was like Trent Williams is now like the 4th or 5th highest paid tackle. He's already moved down like that far, and yeah, it's Tristan Wirfs, then Penei Sewell, Christian Darrisaw, Minnesota, Laramie Tunsil, Houston, and Andrew Thomas, and then Trent Williams.
Yeah, but he got his money before all these other guys got there. He set the bar high for them other guys to get that money. So,
and that's just how the NFL works. The NFL is weird where it doesn't matter if in theory that's the best. It's like Daniel Jones's contract was what it was, but look at what Green Bay and Miami just shelved out for their guys who, I mean, I think Love's a little more proven than Daniel Jones, but like still throwing $50 million at a guy who's
Kirk Cousins
questionable. Well, yeah, then there's Kirk Cousins, who I don't know what, like, genie wish monkey's paw thing he's got going for him where he just gets these ridiculous contracts, but hey, he's getting $100 million at least out of that contract, right?
Yeah, he's getting a lot of money. I think
he has the
like,
greatest.
I'm sure he's not thrilled about Michael Penix, but he's still going to get paid pretty handsomely for it.
The other thing with
Trent
Williams, though, Byron, I think Trent Williams is leveraging the fact that they're that close to winning a Super Bowl, and he knows he's a major component to that. So I think it's a combination, like you said, ego. It's a combination of, wait a second, if I'm that good of a lineman, as everyone's saying, why am I number 5 or 6 the highest paid now? I want to renegotiate. And he's a bigger, they have a better chance of making the Super Bowl than the Tampa Bay Bucks. Is that fair?
Yeah.
Who are the other linemen? Who are the other linemen that you mentioned?
Penei Sewell, Christian Darrisaw, Laramie Tunsil, and Andrew Thomas. Oh, sorry. Bucks, Lions, Vikings, Texans, and Giants.
Okay.
So maybe like one team, maybe 2.
Okay, I think the Lions have a chance of getting to the Super Bowl. Texans have a chance to get to Super Bowl. The Giants don't. Okay.
Hold on. Come on. It's our year. There's no NFC East team has repeated. We're long overdue. It's been, what, a long time?
Philadelphia
long time.
Just a few years.
Philadelphia should win the conference this year. Anyhow, that's the only reason I see with Trent Williams. Good thing for Tristan Wirfs. I think, hey, he at least has a Super Bowl on his record.
I mean, I will state, I think the close, if he's that bothered by it, then don't sign a 5-year contract. Just sign 1 or 2 years if you're that bothered, because then you're just going to keep resetting the market every time. But no one does that.
Yeah. Well, I think this, he's getting fined $50,000 a day. He said, Byron, a day?
Yeah, a day.
So 10 days, that's $500,000.
Yeah, that he'll never get back.
So he needs to decide something. All right, let's keep going. So you got Trent Williams. He's not in camp. We just talked about that. I think they got that. They got Brandon Ayuk. That's not a good way to start off, especially if you really want to win the Super Bowl. Not a good way to start off. Okay, what do you think about? We've been talking about CD Lamb. CD Lamb. This one caught me by surprise. DJ Morris, receiver, signing that big contract. What are your thoughts on that, Alex?
The Bears think they may have their guy with Caleb Williams. So I mean, they've now. Well, I mean, they already had DJ Moore, but in terms of they're trying to lock him up because I mean, how old is DJ Moore? He's not that old, right?
Mm-mm.
Oh,
Let's see, well, born in '97.
I'll look
My
it- I'll
Lord. He's 27 right now. So like
He's so young.
he'll be around the league for a few years, and I think just locking up. I don't know what his contract situation was coming into this, but I would think just lock him up.
The funny part about DJ Moore is that I still can't get how the Cowboys haven't made a deal with CD Lamb.
None of these contracts make any sense whatsoever. If we're being honest. It's like the fact they're just like throwing that much money at an offensive tackle on a team that, I don't think the Bucks are going to be terrible, but like, no, money doesn't make any sense to me when it comes to NFL contracts because let alone the money that gets reported isn't the guaranteed. It's here's how much he could make up to, but he's probably not going to see the end of that contract, at least in the 5-year window.
well, I'm gonna just go ahead and do my usual. Jerry Jones don't want to pay all that money. You've talked about he's got Dak has got to be $60 million. You got Micah Parsons, because I think Bosa's at 34, whatever he's at. Parsons is going to want $40 million a year. Then you got the corner. He's going to want set the market for the cornerback because you got to cover these wide receivers. So what, $25 million for man? He don't want to pay all that money, man. He's going. I'm gonna do it again. Jerry Jones is going to sell that team for $9 billion.
Nah, I don't
Get
know.
out. Because he don't want to pay, he don't want to give away all that money. That's generational money, man. $9 billion.
What the Celtics are doing. The Celtics locked up, I think, and that's the same thing with the NBA. They literally re-signed every single player or every prominent player on that team. Then they committed like billions of dollars over the next 5 whatever years. And Wick's like, oh, by the way, I'm also selling my share of the team.
Oh,
There you
did
go.
he really?
Yeah, no, that came out like it was right after they did the Tatum deal. Like I don't know, like a month ago. He announced that like that same day that he's selling his share. I don't think the entire like Celtics ownership, whatever the group is, but Wick Grossbeck, who's like the governor of the team, he's like, I'm selling my share, which is like a good chunk. I don't think it's majority, but it's a good chunk of the team.
Byron, you talk
Sell
about
it.
generational wealth. If the team is worth $9 billion, I can't imagine he has no reason to sell. I just looked it up. Their revenue in
Why not?
2002, the revenue just for the year 2002,
We're talking
was
the NFL overall.
$1.14 billion.
For who?
The Cowboys.
Cowboys?
Oh, just the Cowboys. Okay.
Just the Cowboys. So
He's selling that team, man.
why is he going to
He's
sell
selling
it?
it.
Why would he sell it for $9 billion when
He's
he's
eight-
making
he's
$1 billion a year? Like that,
He's-
you don't need
he's-
many more. If you got guaranteed $1 billion in revenue just waking up, why bother selling the team?
He's 81 years old. He has other issues, which we're not going to talk about here, that have been transpiring, and he just sell it, man. Sell it, give it to sell it and walk away, man, with a big old fat check for $9 billion. Just sell it.
He's getting
Sell
$1
it.
billion.
Well, because there's
a
other
year.
things he could keep ownership of that he just assigns to his son to worry about, and he just finances it, so he still like has money coming in. Because I'm sure he has other capital interests or investments somewhere.
Well, he owns other things. I can't imagine. God,
I think he has some sort of ownership or stake or something in that plot of land where SoFi Stadium is or whatnot. I think he was one of the first investors to get something out of that, if I recall correctly.
He's selling that team. I'm going to stick with that one. He's selling it.
let me find out.
Because why would you give like Dak? Let me might as well bash him. Why would you give him $60 million a year? Because that's where it's going. Everybody at 55, 53, and that number is kind of high. So he gets 60. Is Dak Prescott a $60 million a year quarterback?
He owns Papa John franchises. He owns investments in Comstock Resources. He owns real estate. He has a hospitality management company.
That's
I
quite the
mean,
portfolio. And then, then there's the Dallas Cowboys. This giant money-making machine over here.
He's selling that team, man.
yeah, he has stake in a another company, Comstock. Estimated his net worth is estimated at 13.7 billion.
He gonna tack another 9 on top of that real soon.
Jerry Jones put another $100 million into Frisco's. What is that? Is that the
Frisco?
steak joint? No.
Well, I know there's like Frisco, Texas, but otherwise,
Could be a steak place.
No, there's Del Frisco's is a steak place. I don't know what he was talking about there. But anyways, all right, let's keep going. But the easiest move, I don't understand why they're not signing. What's the problem with CD Lamb? I understand what you're saying, Byron, but he's bona fide. They got to do something.
Okay,
I
all
mean,
right.
I don't know. They're not
Who's the
doing
top
anything.
pick?
I know.
Who? Let's go like be logical. Who's the top paid receiver right now?
Justin Jefferson.
Top paid.
Justin Jefferson.
How much?
37 million with like 188 million.
Is CD Lamb better than him? Is CD
No.
Lamb better than that guy?
No.
Than Justin Jefferson?
I don't think
135 receptions last year.
I don't know if he's better than him, but he's up there. He's in the top 3.
Okay. Mike, who's the top? Well, I think Nick Bosa is the top paid edge rusher at like 34 million or whatever. So now you got Parsons is coming up, who's been an All-Pro every year since he's been in the league.
Get it, but without CeeDee Lamb, he's the most feared. I mean, without him, you don't have to worry about that, right?
Yeah, but now but look what you got to do. You're gonna allocate 40 million to a receiver, 40 million to an edge rusher. Dak another 60. Man, that's a lot of money, man, with just 3 people. What about the rest of the team? Because there isn't such thing as a salary cap. They can't afford. They can't afford all 3 of those guys like that. They'll be doing some kind of magical thing with numbers, to get it under salary cap.
It's an offensive league. You got Justin Jefferson at 35 million. You got AJ Brown at 32. You got Amon Ross St. John. He's around 30 something million. I think CeeDee Lamb is right there between, Justin Jefferson and AJ Brown.
But it's maybe the thought that, do they need CeeDee Lamb to do what they need to do, or can they find someone at a discount bargain price that not necessarily going to get all the explosiveness, but get some of the productivity that you get out of a CeeDee Lamb at like a fraction of the price?
And where is he?
Because, I mean, look at the turnstile of wide receivers he's had over the years, like the last 10 years, like Dez, Amari Cooper, Cole Beasley. Like they just go through them. They find people, not necessarily all playmakers, but that's the way they've operated. It's weird, but it's Jerry Jones. World-renowned NFL executive Jerry Jones.
He's selling that team.
The second closest receiver on the Cowboys had 1,000 yards less than CeeDee Lamb.
Yeah. So
he averages 102 yards per game.
Huh. And how many receptions?
He had 135 receptions last year. He's got a catch percentage of 74%. He's above Tyreek Hill, Amon St. Brown, Evan Ingram, Michael Pittman. He's AJ Brown. He's Puka
Nacua,
Devontae Adams. He's above everyone last year in 2023.
He is the best receiver in the NFL, CeeDee Lamb.
Oh, you didn't say that a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, I did. Prove it.
I pulled the tape. Okay. And then where is he here? And the year before was Justin Jefferson. Where is CD? Did CD play the year before? Mari Cooper was up there. AJ Brown.
That's some of the names that come to mind.
Yeah, I don't see him for some reason. I know
he's their best receiver, and they don't want to pay him. They have the best, their quarterback. They don't want to pay him. Mike Parsons don't want to pay him. They don't want to pay Trayvon Diggs. Don't want to pay him. That's a bad trend. They're heading in the wrong direction, and they bring back Ezekiel Elliott. Really.
Well, look at his Lamb's. is in his career since 2020. He had 74 catches, 935 yards. Next year, 79 catches, 1,100 yards. The following year, 107 catches. That's a lot more. 1,359. Last year, 135, 1,749 yards.
Huh. But he doesn't deserve
His average
more
is
money.
8.1 per catch. That guy scares me. He's big. He's 6'2". He's fast. He's only 25.
And they don't want to pay him.
That's crazy.
Tis, tis, tis.
Oh well, I mean, I think the Cowboys are going to have a pretty disappointing year. I think, and Dak's in the driver's seat. Dak doesn't have to worry about signing because he can play this year out, and then he has a no trade clause. He has a right. His no trade clause is out, and they can't franchise
He
tag,
can leave.
and they
He
get
can go.
zero for him. They get
Nothing.
zero for him. I mean, I don't know. Maybe you think Jerry Jones is just saying, screw it, I'm going to wait and just try to pick up someone else, these young quarterbacks, and do something different outside of selling.
Yeah, there's bound to be something on the market. Who knows? Maybe Kirk Cousins will be available.
Nah, he won't go. I
Right
think
now.
he'll go for the draft. Because what we're seeing is there was a good comment that I heard on one of the shows back in the day. You can mention maybe your top five, top 10 quarterbacks, but really the top 3 to 5 were like superstars, right? They were the elite. Right now, we got a lot. I mean, we mentioned this a couple of years ago. There's a lot of really good quarterbacks, and there's a lot of young quarterbacks, right? Even the backups are playing. Look at where Mr. Irrelevant's coming out of. Okay, CG Lamb setting the pace for Ohio State. Okay, you got Jaden Daniels should have a good year. They're talking big about Caleb Williams. You got Justin Justin Herbert. You got Patrick Mahomes. All right, I mean, there's just so many. You still got the old veterans. You got Aaron Rodgers. You got Jordan Love. I mean, think about how many names. I don't think we could name that many quarterbacks a while ago. I mean, if you go by every single team, pretty much you got Matthew Stafford still. You got Jared Goff. I mean, think about it. That's a lot of quarterbacks. I'm just naming off the top of my head.
Quarterback-driven league.
It is, but they're performing though. There's a big difference between quarterback driven and they're actually playing. And they're even to the point that backups are playing. I mean, look at Geno Smith coming around, right? Look at the backup quarterbacks that are stepping in and playing pretty good. So when you're up there, that league, again, the only one who's different than everyone else, in my opinion, is Patrick Mahomes.
Well, because we also saw the rise in the same era of quarterbacks. To attribute to that, a lot of offensive-minded head coaches, like what we saw with like that Washington football team from like 2011 that had like Shanahan, Mike McDaniels, like a lot of like offensive like driven guys, like a lot of them, instead of like perhaps the defensive balanced minds that we saw in the 2000s, we're now starting to see that really, as it's a quarterback driven league, everyone's looking for the next big hot shot, either QB coach, passing coordinator, or even just offensive coordinator to head their team. I mean, our guy was Dable was what? He was like the assistant offensive coordinator, or was he the OC at Buffalo?
OC. The OC.
Okay. So yeah, that's where I think really a lot of it's not just that the quarterbacks are getting good. I think just the staffing of who's coaching these guys, especially from a head coach, it's a lot of offensive coaches now.
But we have seen, though, true, I agree with that. But that even gives, Byron's buddy, Pete Carroll, you got to give him more kudos then. Because he's a defensive-minded coach. For him to turn around Geno Smith, that says a lot about that organization. Is that a fair statement? Because he's a pure defensive coach. In fact, Russell Wilson left for that. And then he takes a Geno Smith. Now Geno Smith is getting paid top dollar. He was in the league for, 10, 13 years?
Bounced around a few places, including here.
But I will tell you, though, being a defensive guy, Byron, you as well, as much as it's a quarterback-driven league, we have seen where defenses are the ones that won in the Super Bowl, right?
Oh, yeah.
It was Spags' defense that's won them some Super Bowls, right? But against the Eagles, and because last year their offense wasn't that good. They played really well in the playoffs, but the defense still held. When the Bucks won, the Bucks' defensive game plan against Kansas City to get to the Super Bowl was, well, actually, in the Super Bowl. Was it in the Super Bowl, right? Yeah.
Yeah, no, it wasn't. No, I was just more like thinking, God, that was like the way they defensively just suffocated Mahomes was insane when I think about that game.
Yeah, and they also, like
Don't
Byron
let
said, they put too deep on Tyreek Hill. They didn't let Tyreek Hill get behind him, right, Byron?
Nope. Don't let him go. Everybody back up 40 yards. Don't let it beat us deep.
So,
That's all
so
they
as
did.
much as the point on your side, the pro on your side, which I agree with, is you're not getting the Super Bowl without a great offense, right?
Oh yeah, otherwise the Big
Unless you're
12 would be the
Kansas.
best conference in college football because they have an offensive powerhouse, but they don't have to
Exactly.
play defense.
But once push comes to shove, when the big game is on the line, right? That's where you got to some degree, pare down the offensive juggernaut, right? You got to win that game relatively close.
Get the stop.
Yeah, you got to make your stops. You can have long drives, you can't have everything, and that's where Spags has really excelled. I mean, with Spags has got how many Super Bowls? 5?
Has he been there for all Kansas Cities?
I think he's been there for.
I think so.
So then he's got 4 because he was only there for the first one for the Giants. He went to, I believe, he became the Rams head coach after the first Super Bowl.
Yeah, and that failed.
Yeah, and we saw how that worked out.
Yeah, that's like Wade Phillips, also, right? Same thing with him.
Not everyone is destined to be a head coach. Sometimes being the best coordinator can pay well. Look at Dick LeBeau for Pittsburgh. He was the DC for 25 years or something. At least 2 Super Bowls with the Steelers.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. All right, well, we'll see what's happened. Any updates on the game?
It's 10-7 Houston right now. I'm not exactly sure who the
Did Stroud start?
I did not see CJ Stroud nor
okay.
Caleb Williams
Them
start.
guys ain't playing.
Mm-hmm. And then let's wrap it up with Aaron Rodgers. Did you see what Aaron Rodgers, when he was Robert Saleh said he's not going to be playing in the first preseason game, and Aaron Rodgers was, that was the first time I've heard that.
The quote was that he may not be ready or he just won't play in the preseason period. I couldn't remember this.
I thought it was the game 1, and Rodgers says, "Look, I'm ready to play. You know, if they want to suit me up, I'm ready to play." He goes, and I like what Aaron Rodgers said. That he goes, long time ago, we used to all play in the preseason. Now nobody wants to play.
Nope.
And you could see it, in the beginning of the season, the teams don't look that good.
Yeah, we found out with the Giants was it last year when they played the final game. Daniel Jones went out there for one series, was 10 for 10 or whatever he was, throwing the ball down, scored a touchdown, took over, and look what happened the first game. Got steamrolled.
Yeah,
friggin' MetLife, man.
All righty, well, let's start wrapping this up. All right, guys. Well, we got there's more. I'm sure there's more contracts going to be coming. More different things are going to be happening next week. So pretty excited. Happy that football is here. College is about to start too, so that's going to be an interesting year.
Especially with all the changes, not just like the conference, but also the playoff is massively expanded. And having spent hours playing the new college football video game, I think a lot of people are going to be in for a shock when the bracket comes out and they don't understand the auto bids. So it's going to be a good year.
I did want to bring one thing up because Santiago had sent this. Let me see if I could share my screen. Yeah, here we go. All right. Let me see what you guys think about this. Boom. Oh, it's let me. Here it is. Can you guys see this?
Not yet.
No.
Oh, there it is.
Tight ends?
Oh, the Madden ratings.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, look, Evan Ingram. Wow. Holy smokes.
Where is he?
He's 6th right there.
6.
How does he get such a high score?
Because
I guess because there's not a lot. I mean, look at the rest of the tight ends, though.
Well, there are a lot. I mean, it's been a minute since I've done a customized player in either Madden or NCAA, but there's a lot of intangibles and different ratings within. It's not just catch, speed, whatever. There's things I don't know how good of a blocker he is. That's where I'd have to see the specific on the OVR, what he is. But when you mention his name, the top 10, it's Evan Ingram, the guy who was Butterfingers, and we're talking about him as a top tight end. I know he had a good year with Jacksonville, right?
Yeah.
That's where he went.
Yeah.
And we'll
He
see.
had
I
more.
mean, hey, Trevor
It,
Lawrence, another guy who got paid this offseason, so
yeah,
he should be good.
Evan had more balls hit his hands, bounce off, fly in the air, interceptions than you could imagine. Every week it was something.
Every week.
Hold on a second. I want to see, and then I want to show you this other ranking here that I thought was incredible. Let's see here.
I will say
Evan,
I'm also a little blown away that Travis Kelce got a 99 OVR, but I know he is one of the best at the tight end position. I just would not have guessed. Because sort of the 99 means, whoa, streamception.
You guys see that?
Oh, my goodness.
Who is that?
I don't know. Look at that horse collar. Look at that collar, boy, looking like a stud.
Vikings becking Mr. Byron Jones, my buddy, my hometown hero, and my co-host of the Jersey Boys Sportscast, Perth Amboy's own Mr. Byron Jones. The Minnesota Vikings calling on Byron. Byron was a beast. Look at him. Look at that hair.
Look at a whole bunch of hair.
Nice and clean.
Huh?
Yeah.
That was a big boy coming at you.
Ooh, man.
Byron, do you know that we all were proud of that? We all had this picture. Did you see the comments on Facebook? Even Benny did.
Yeah.
There's not a picture I think I've ever seen, like whether you made All State or Richardson or so forth. We all used to see all that. Because remember, that was our paper, so we were really proud. So I'm proud of you, Byron. It's always been an honor. But that's him, Alex. Look at him.
Wow.
Lightning quick. Like
no, I love the. Is that the neck pad? Like that kind
that's
of
the
like.
That's horse collar, man.
Horse collar.
The horse
literally
collar.
Horse collar.
Man.
Okay. I was saying I knew I recognized that's what it was. I just couldn't remember what the name of it was.
That's old school. Look at the legs. Look at the feet. Look at the size of that man.
Oh man, I'm coming out of it. And you can see
Byron,
the little
Byron Jones
TCU.
onto the NFL. Look at that.
Very nice.
That's awesome, huh?
Look at that for a Throwback Thursday. There you go.
Oh, that's a lot of throwback. That's a lot of throwbacks.
Hey, Byron,
Throwing it back.
You could say what a lot of people can't. You know what I mean? So God bless you. We were all rooting for you. Super proud of you, my friend. And so I'm going to bring that out. It's preseason started. So as I started seeing those, I love that picture. So God bless you and the Jones family. All right, gentlemen. Alex, always a pleasure. Thanks again for joining us. We'll sure be seeing you soon.
Absolutely. Yeah, at some point during the season, I'm sure I'll be back.
Yeah, of course. We want you back. Well, after the first game, we probably want you back.
Who knows? Am I going to need to be on for the preview of the Eagles or the post-mortem of the Eagles game in week 7?
Well, you should come for that one, right, for Saquon.
I'll put that one on the books.
Either right after the preseason or just before or right after the first game, one or the other. Well, you can come on any time. I'm just saying, but for sure, you want to come on in between those pieces. All right.
We all sit here. We can sit in here and cry together.
Welcome to Giants therapy,
or be in shock, right, or something. Have some type of reaction. All right, don't forget to subscribe to on all our channels: YouTube, Spotify. If you like what you see, please smash the like button, hit the notifications, join the Jersey Boys Sports Talk. Bring your comments, put things that you want to talk about, what you like to hear. We're going to start really bringing up the show to another level. Thank you again. Don't forget, we are live every Thursday. At what time, Byron?
8 o'clock.
Yeah, we're putting up every number because every time we give a number, someone always asks us, hey, what time's your show?
Well, my California family, it's 5 o'clock out there. They're watching.
8 p.m. Eastern time, 7 p.m. Central time, 6 p.m. Mountain time, and 5 p.m. Pacific time.
What about in Paris?
I'm not going into any more time zones. So please join in. Thank you very much. The Sportscast, Jersey Boys Sports Talk signing out. Gentlemen, it's always been a pleasure. And looking forward to next week. And at least we're getting back to some good football. Take care, guys.
Absolutely.